Ocean Recovery Alliance. And we will have Doug's introduction, and then we'll have Maria's discussion. We will then have a Q&A, and then we'll have a video presentation by Limpi Recycling founders, Debrah, Nijdam, and Mitchell Lammering. That should be very exciting. They're also here to talk with us despite their time zone difference, I think. And we'll have a great Q&A followed by closing remarks by Vanessa. So just as we start, I want to say as a friendly reminder, please make sure that you know this is a recorded webinar. So make sure you're not on, you're not using your microphone inadvertently. You should be seeing at the bottom of your screen a Q&A option. We encourage you guys to comment. We'd love to hear your own perspectives, and we're delighted to answer questions. There will be a wide range of experience with plastics. Some people will be deep into the science and some won't. Some will be deep into the business and some won't. So know that you'll have lots of different views, and we encourage you to help each other learn. And again, you're going to have some questions. Please feel free to put them in the chat. And if you have subsequent questions, you can reach out to the ministry and the Plastic Initiative under Ciaretta and Vanessa on Facebook. And at the end, we'll give you that Facebook link again. So for starters, I am absolutely delighted to hear remarks by Vanessa Torre. Vanessa is the director of the Foreign Economic Cooperation Division at the Ministry of Economic Development for Curaçao. She was formerly the acting secretary general for the Curaçao Ministry of Economic Development. And she's also had many other exciting roles. She's also been policy advisor to the Minister of Traffic, Transport, and Urban Planning. We're going to probably learn more about that. She's been the acting director of policy at the Ministry of Traffic, Transport, and Urban Planning. So she's got a lot of policy experience. She also has an MBA, and she spent time in Europe, the US, and Canada studying and being a professional. And her programs have included a variety of different economic innovations as well as economic development. Thank you, Vanessa. It's so good to have you speak.
Thank you so much, Katrina. How are you? How is everybody? Good morning, everyone. Also, all those people following us this morning. I was indeed introduced extensively by Katrina. At this moment, as the Director of Foreign Economic Cooperation at the Ministry of Economic Development, we try to stimulate more trade, positioning Curaçao as a country, as an island that is indeed internationally active and exporting its goods and services, but Curaçao is also working on a sustainable economic development. And based on that, we are supporting this whole CAPP initiative in Curaçao. We are very happy and proud to partner with you all in this matter. So the Ministry of Health, Environment and Nature and the Ministry of Economic Development of Curaçao are collaborating with CAPP, and we are organizing a series of webinars on several topics related to the ban of plastics in Curaçao. So this one, the business of plastics, is one of the most interesting topics in this matter, because one thing is that we want to reduce the use of plastics, but we already have a lot of plastic on the island. So what are we going to do with it? So we want to engage entrepreneurs, people that are interested in the circular business and how to get something out of the plastic waste that we have on the island. And this information will be shared also with our region, with the Caribbean, because our position as a CAPP partner is also to disseminate this information to the rest of the Caribbean. We want to invite everyone to follow all the activities that we are having in store. And we want to invite you also to like our Facebook page, the Curaçao Plastic Pollution Task Force, which is also going to keep you informed on all the initiatives and everything that we are planning to do to realize the plastic ban in Curaçao. We are working very hard in preserving our oceans. So we are working very hard in preserving our nature. So that's why it's very important to deal with the waste, and plastic as one of the largest polluters of our environment needs to be tackled. So we support this initiative from an economic development perspective, and we wish you all a very, very pleasant webinar this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa. That was really wonderful. And I hope people all took note. The Curaçao Plastic Pollution Task Force has a Facebook page. And I know Sireta Profes, who is also co-facilitating today, is working on the chat and the Q&A. Maybe Sireta, if you could add that Facebook page link, that would help people make sure that they go and like it and they receive your notifications. And Vanessa, you reminded me that one of the important things about your work is that you cover many different bases. You cover nature, you cover the economy, you cover the beauty of all of the islands. And part of that beauty is health as well of the people, the beautiful people. And one of the things we're going to be talking about today is the implications of plastic for health. Maria Westerbos is going to be talking to us about microplastics and several other invasive elements of plastic. So we're really going to be lucky to hear all different dimensions of the challenge. With that, I am the next speaker. I'm going to tell you briefly about the CAPP program. For a moment, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can open up my PowerPoint slides. But I wanted to mention that in addition to my presence here as representative of the CAPP program, Doug Woodring, I mentioned before, is also here. Doug is a co-founder of CAPP. We've also got Simon Trussler, who is a co-founder of CAPP, and Arno Boersma, another co-founder of CAPP. Doug is joining us from Hong Kong, and Simon is joining us from Massachusetts. I'm now in Maine, and we've got Arno joining us from The Hague. So we are in a lot of different locations, all very, very interested in the business and the recovery from plastics. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to be over in my other application. Just one moment here. As I mentioned, the CAPP program is a community partnering now with Curaçao, the Seychelles, and Fiji on driving commitments into action regarding plastic. That includes cleanup, it includes recovery, it includes upcycling plastic, and a variety of different types of innovations that involve citizens, businesses, and policymakers. We can be found on the web at www.capp.global. We encourage you guys to go out there and see kind of a variety of the different things we're doing. This is the community of founders that you can see right here on the screen. Everybody is here today. I think maybe even Rob Steer may be coming as well. We have a variety of different types of expertise, and we're complemented by all of you here. We are a big community and we all have things to offer. Right now, I mentioned that we've got this flagship community that includes the islands of Curaçao, Fiji, and the Seychelles. There are some very important aspects of being an island nation when you're talking about plastics. Limited amount of land mass, considerable damage coming from other places in the world, arriving on the shores of the islands having immense economic opportunity as well, from being able to upcycle plastic, create things from plastic, and to change the economic model with plastic replacements. We'll be learning about some of the economics of plastic in our talk by Debrah, Nijdam, and Mitchell Lammering. So just a little bit about the CAPP program. We have 4 key offerings. One, we have a platform of knowledge that is based on SharePoint, where communities can convene, share content, get case studies, learn about some of the developments in plastic. We also have a variety of different types of knowledge that we're developing and acquiring from you and from other countries, and ways that we can learn about best practices. When we say applied knowledge, we're not just saying nice stories, we're saying things that will be very useful from you from a perspective of how to. If you want to deploy a community, we're yours. If you want to try a project, we're yours. And we want to be able to get those ideas quickly from successful actors in the whole plastics industry and plastics pollution reduction space. We're going to increasingly have learning programs. This is an example of a learning program. And because it's a global community, we'll be having locations around the globe, building from this flagship group of Fiji, Curaçao, and Seychelles. We are also running competitions. We have a number of different universities who have been working with us to identify small prizes to students to identify best practices in plastic abatement. I also mentioned that platform. Here's a quick screenshot of the platform. You can see this is an opportunity for you to be able to jump right in and search for content. We've got a pretty robust model for finding things with tags. And we've got people, products, case studies, and how-tos living in this. If you're interested in joining the task force, all the task force members are out there on this platform, contributing and finding content. So that's the quick overview of CAPP, Commitments Accelerator for Plastic Pollution. We'd really love for you to join CAPP and also join this flagship community of practitioners. So I will stop sharing for a second here and go back to the agenda. As I'm doing that, I wonder, Ciaretta, have you seen any comments or questions in the chat?
Hi, good morning. Still, the chat is a bit empty. We don't have comments or questions yet, but I think they will come during the webinar.
All righty then. Okay. Well, we'll certainly be hearing from people in a moment. So I'm going to just move right on, and I'm going to turn the floor over to my colleague, Doug Woodring. Doug is going to introduce Maria Westerbos.
Thank you, Kate. I'm fortunate enough to have known Maria for maybe 6 or 7 years now. Maria has 25 years of experience in the TV and media industry, and she maybe 8 or 9, 10 years ago converted to essentially working what we've all been working on is saving the next generation or leaving something good. And she's a real powerhouse globally in the plastic pollution fight. She was the leader in the microbead fight in Europe, which spread all around the world. And she's going to tell you a bit more today about the health implications. But in looking at her background, I found that she was actually born, even though she's living now in Holland, in Ethiopia. And I know one great proverb, which is from Ethiopia, which says, when spider webs unite, they can stop a lion. And what that refers to is collaboration with many, in this case, animals or insects, which you think maybe can't do so much together, but when they all get together, they can actually make a big difference. And I think this is a perfect segue into what Maria's done around the world. We helped her work on an app. You should all download this, which is called My Little Plastic Footprint. And she's been running this, a great little tool for individuals to look at their plastic consumption and the diet they might go on around plastic. So Maria, over to you. We look forward to a great talk and continue your excellent work. And we,
Doug, if you could put that link when Maria starts, if you could put that link into the Q&A for everybody, that would be lovely.
Okay, thank you.
And Maria, thank you. I'm going to stop sharing so you can share. And right now, I think you're on mute.
I'm unmuted now. And now I need to share. Where do I share? I know, I'm there. A desktop, share, open systems, there we go. Oh, it says I have advantages. Zoom as. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with sharing. I could share my screen, isn't it? There it is, sorry. And there we are. Full screen, I'm sorry. Well, Doc and everybody told you already, my name is Maria Westerbos and I founded Plastic Soup Foundation 10 years ago. All the rest was told by Doc. He introduced me to the point and thank you for that, Doc. I'm feeling honored. We started grassroots in 2012 with only volunteers. On this moment, we have 25 employees, all earning a decent salary. And next to that, we have 30 guest teachers and many volunteers like, for example, translators and legal advisors. Our new mission is no plastic for a healthy planet and humanity. Accredited by UNEP and UNESCO and assigned as one of the leading advocacy NGOs on plastic worldwide. We have access to a big international science and business network. Things changed dramatically when the industry for household plastics rapidly evolved in the 50s of the last century. This new period of growth was celebrated in Life magazine as throwaway living. And as you all know right now, that became literally throwaway living. In that time, plastic packaging was promoted to consumers. You could even look through and see what you had purchased. A novelty. Plastic was seen as the miracle material of that moment. And it was, just to be honest, it served us well. And our lives would not look the same without it. But now we unintentionally created our own plastic environment. The material has set many rules on standards for safety, hygiene, and comfort. And that's exactly why the worldwide production of plastic could grow since the 1950s to an incredible 400 million tons in 2020. And production for packaging material accelerated dramatically to a 60% of total volume. This was not without consequences. Plastic suddenly became a major part of domestic waste, and this forever shifted the way we handle garbage, changing from local into regional and even global waste processes, as Curaçao knows better than Holland knows. Because plastics are like diamonds, there was and still is no other option than landfilling the stuff. Later on, we even started burning waste in big incinerators to minimize land use. Only 9% was globally recycled within 70 years' time. Why? Because the waste feedstock is far from consistent and plastic recycling is already very complex. To give you an idea, there are more than 145,000 plastic trade names with all specific differences. Technically, they are all recyclable, but economically and practically, it's a burden. And how about the fact? And how about the fact that the annual production, something is happening here with you, Chiaretta. Somebody's entering the room, which makes that I am stuck. This is strange. My computer is stuck. There it comes. 12 million. And how about the fact that 3% of the annual production of plastics leak into the environment? That's at least 12 million tons per year. We use it, we lose it. With that, plastic is one of the biggest material emissions in our time. The plastic pollution problem already starts on the roof of the world. This is in the heart of Kathmandu. The piles of trash near the Holy Bagmati River look like a war zone. I was there myself. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know, hundreds of militaries were cleaning up this 10-meter high pile on the top of the Himalaya. I was really devastated. I was crying when I stood there. And all rivers in the world will finally find a way to get rid of it, like this one in Malaysia. After that, these river plastics frequently wash ashore on beaches with devastating effects on the environment, but also on tourism, and also that Curaçao knows very well. Eventually, a vast amount of all plastic ends up in the ocean. Sea life suffers tremendously from the plastic plague from land. Scientists predict that in 2050, there will be more plastics in the oceans than fish. Animals get entangled and suffer their entire life from the tremendous strength of plastic. This turtle is called Mae West for her small wasp taille, her small waist. Later on, she grew like a monster. She changed into a monster. She was still alive a few years ago. A lot of cattle live with a constant threat of plastic ingestion, as you also know on Curaçao, like the goats and the cows and everything that lives. And this cow starved to death with its belly full of plastic. And there are many, many known casualties like this. Or what to think of these Amsterdam birds trying to make the best of it. I witnessed it. I witnessed this nest myself, and it was some years ago, and I can really tell you I was shocked by the image. To make it clearer, let's have a look at Midway Islands. This is as far from urbanization as you can get, and it's in the middle of the North Pacific Gyre, one of the 7 main plastic garbage patches in the world. The national flag of this island group shows its main inhabitant, the albatross. Although, and there the albatross is, a picture from Chris Jordan that went over the world already in 2009. It was why I was struck by lightning when I saw this picture, and I thought this cannot be true. And although we right now know that more than 95% of all plastics will sink to the ocean floor, the concentration of floating plastics around this island is so high that these birds easily mistake plastic for food. The colony is threatened with extinction. The bottom line is that what was presented as a highly convenient material is now rapidly unveiling its true character. Plastic is wrapping our whole living planet. Plastic products have a nasty habit to fragmentize into microplastics. Trash becomes so small that even plankton can consume it. In time, these microplastics attach to all sorts of dangerous chemicals from our polluted seas. There are also intentionally added microplastics like in paint and personal care products. Or what to think of our clothes. 60% is synthetic. These garments lose millions and millions very tiny fibers by just doing the laundry. Microplastics do not only attach to all sorts of chemicals, but plastic also contain a huge number of toxic additives. When all these poisonous microplastics enter the food chain, we must be aware of the side effects for our own health. Plastic is now omnipresent in the air, in water, in soil, and in our food. We are worried because we think, and scientists think, that the additives in plastic are causing modern diseases like fertility problems and Alzheimer, but also obesity. And therefore, we initiated the Plastic Health Coalition to make essential research possible. If you want to know more, please have a look on our website, and I mean it, be scared. We need change, real change. But for that, we first need to prove that plastics do make us sick. This will take a few more years from now. We're working on it. Until then, we need to give consumers action perspective, like our Beat the Microbeat app. It's already downloaded more than 350,000 times, and it's worldwide known as the campaign on this topic. It also shows you the truth on the back. This app reads the ingredients of personal care products with optical recognition. It recognizes 550 types of micro and nanoplastics and flag these red. But the app also offers consumers a list of more than 100 brands that are completely plastic free. With our second app, Doc mentioned it already, we help people with their plastic mass index, your PMI, instead of your body mass index, BMI. My Plastic Footprint is an app that helps consumers reduce their plastic footprint by going on a plastic diet. We educate consumers about the issue and the dangers of plastic pollution with an exciting quiz. Our diet also offers sustainable alternatives to reduce people's personal plastic consumption. It's very popular amongst women between 18 and 30 years old, worldwide, highly educated. So it's also very usable on the islands. Is there more news? Yes. Plastic pollution is becoming top of mind, and finally we see change on a political level, like on Curaçao. Bans on plastics and new legalizations are being implemented globally. Let us say it's a start, and we compliment Curaçao for taking the lead in a progressive coalition of Caribbean island states. Well done. There are also increasingly product developments that take plastic leakage seriously. So we must cut down on all single-use plastics wherever possible and make the system fair for alternative materials that already have higher recycling rates, like these products. As you can see here on the bottom, it's a washing machine filter to get the loss of your fibers out of there. It's an add-on filter. Of course, the takeaway bottle, which is not better than the single use, if you have access to good water. Let's not ask from people to drink water that they can't consume, in fact. We should also embrace reusable and deposit systems on a very broad scale. We must avoid unnecessary plastic packaging, for instance, by lasering information on the food product itself. And it's very successful in Holland, I can tell you. Or even better, choose packaging made from algae that's eatable. I tried a few of those things and it's very doable, especially the oho, where you can, and it's water. It explodes in your mouth and you don't buy a bottle anymore. You just buy some ohos and you have always access to water, never too much and never too little. In all ways, you need to use common sense instead of aggressive boxing in the ring. We need no fighting. We need to preserve the world for our children and the children of our children and their children. We need to preserve the world for next generations instead of destroying it. Thank you.
Maria, that was very profound. Now I'm really ready to start looking at my own footprint. And I'm also really interested in learning more about how people who are on the call now can take action. We've got two really good questions in the chat. And I know, Ciaretta, you may have even seen others. Do you want to read them or you want me to read them?
I can read them. So we have two questions from the chat. I think, of course, it's related to the content that Maria brought up about solutions that all islands can implement. And one of the questions is related to that. So does this solution needs to come from the consumer or the producer, such as soda factory or packaging of soda or commodities? So this is the first question.
Yeah, I do really believe in extended producer responsibility. So this law in Europe will be effective early 2024, and then they have to pay for the pollution they cause. You cannot keep on producing without being responsible. At the same time, we as consumers are the biggest change makers of all. If we unite, we can force everybody in changing their habits. So we should unite and use our collective power to make a difference. And big multinationals and the richest amongst us should take responsibility and help us clean up the mess and start aiming for other and alternative products instead of keep on producing more and more and more and more. Less, I would say, less plastic.
And more recycling.
Upcycling.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. The question came from Julio Abraham. Another question from Anna Loes van den Ende is about specifically the steps that small island development governments can take. So the question is, which steps does its government needs to take first, and which steps has the biggest impact?
I would say, I know that small islands have a huge problem. You import a lot of single-use products and you cannot get rid of it. And it has very low value. So how to turn this into economy? Well, I would say charge retailers and see if you can, like Plastic Bank, which is a very good Asian initiative, see if you can charge a little bit more money on products in the retail and take that money to clean up the mess that is caused by that. Look for sustainable tourism. Have good hotels being, and give them advantage with TripAdvisor and all other kinds of ratings. For example, have them rated in the plastic soup, My Little Plastic Footprint, so that your tourists can see where to go and where it's more sustainable. And then give people on the island access to ways to reduce their own footprint, not so much by by downloading My Little Plastic Footprint, but give them alternatives anyhow. Give them refill stations or pay them very little money for bringing back their plastic trash so that you can recycle it and maybe make something useful out of it, if that's possible. It's very hard to export all this waste because that's more expensive than seeing what you can do with on the island. But really avoid dumping plastic on the island and make everybody aware of the threat of this beautiful water, this incredible coral you still have, this incredible animal life in undersea. You are living in paradise, and let not people destroy it. Let not economy win.
Maria, that was a wonderful, wonderful offering to us to go and take action. And I am in Maine right now, but I'm often in Boston, which is the home of TripAdvisor. And perhaps there is a partnership ahead for you with My Little Plastic Footprint and TripAdvisor to have them celebrate the removal of plastic.
If you can bring me in contact with them, I would love that, because I think it would be an incredible opportunity to have people make sustainable choices, because they are offered sustainable choices. I once made a world trip, and even in I don't know where I was, somewhere in Africa, I could find no, Cambodia it was. I could find sustainable lodges, and I was so happy that I had that opportunity, because that's what you look for. You don't want to find yourself back into trash all over the place. You want to, and you want to pay more for that. You want to be responsible for your traveling also. So we can make this happen, I think. I hope so.
Well, one of the things that we're seeing in the States is increasingly it is the consumer and the advocate who's the general citizen who is getting our leaders in our businesses to take notice.
Yeah.
And we've done it now with climate change. Increasingly, the companies are having to say that they are going to be following climate neutral strategies. We're going to need to do that same kind of pressure around plastics.
It's the same. Climate change and plastic are walking hand in hand. So I think it's not the next generation with Greta Thunberg as the leader of this movement. It should be us. It should be me. It's you. It's us that should take the responsibility for the fact that it went so far. I'm sorry, but I blame myself for it. When I was young, I had a little bike with 3 wheels, and it was from iron. My step was from wood. My life was without plastic. So imagine what it means for kids now. They're living in a plastic world, and we created it. We never were aware of the fact that it went this far, that it's now threatening islands and I don't know, big communities wherever in the world. That's what makes me tick.
I think related to, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sireta.
Yes, I think related to that, there, of course, for small islands like us, there are many challenges, of course, especially at the beginning to implement, to get everybody on board. And I think one of the participants are wondering what is actually the greatest challenge for a small island like Curaçao, which has limited space and resources and sources of income also. I think from your perspective, you can identify already some challenges that we might encounter.
You live in paradise. So show people, you're living from tourism also. So show these people a sustainable tourist sector. And if they don't want to believe you, take them to Horror Beach, because I saw little movies from Horror Beach. Take them there on a trip and tell them this is what you are doing with our island. You know, take responsibility, help us. Let's make a difference. Share horror beach with the rest of the world, and you will not know what happens, because we will all be furious. Tell all those Dutch people to keep their crap with them. No, I mean it.
That's
So
a really important thing. I
go
think
there.
once, for those of us who saw what I think is the 2009 image of the bird, was that an albatross? I'm not remembering. There were two different bird images that you shared. It's emblazoned on the back of my retina. I've seen it now hundreds of times, but each time I feel more pain, I must say. And I think it's important for us to be exposed to that, then we take the action. It's important that we realize that there is devastation there. So it's very, very helpful. I agree with your point.
So share Horror Beach. Share the pictures from Horror Beach where all the trash is ending on Curaçao. It's incredible. And if you tell people that that's the consequence of their deeds, and also industry, you know, it's the same in Nepal where I was. I visited Curaçao, of course, several times, and also Aruba. But let's imagine that you are on the top of the Himalaya and you find all these sachets there from Unilever, Procter & Gamble, and it's all throwaway living. And we are throwing away living. We are throwing away life. And we should stop with that. We should preserve the planet and little islands like Curaçao, which are heaven. We should protect them and be it pisses me off. Here in Holland, in a rainy Amsterdam, where the summer will not come. I die for the sun right now. I want sun, but here it's raining and it's, no, I don't know. But you in Curaçao are suffering from another issue, which is much bigger.
There was one other comment, Ciaretta, did you notice, that
Yes.
said, yes, do you want to read that one? This is from Ana Loos.
Oh, yes, because of course, Anna Lewis wanted to highlight about the corporation side of tackling problems such as plastic pollution. And she asked about if it's economically possible or are there initiatives to work with other islands to get rid of plastics?
If you could, I would suggest, and now I'm saying something very bold, but some little island states are joining the ecocide cause. And ecocide is a new way of looking at the plastic crisis. I would say plastic is already one of the new planet boundaries because it cannot go away. Plastics are like diamonds, they are there forever. So I would say you have the planet boundaries, and the planet boundaries are reached on the little island states. There you can see very well how devastating it is. So I would say look into joining ecocide and the ecocide movement, because they say that plastic is an act against all ecosystems on Earth. And as a matter of fact, we only have one ecosystem, and that is everything what grows and flowers on this world, including human. So, and 12 lawyers are now preparing more or less the definition of ecocide, and some island states want to go to justice. They want to say, we know who is doing that, and we already know that it's only 20 of the biggest companies in the world and some banks. You know, it's not us. It's just a few responsible multinationals, big companies behind the scenes. So I would say, have a look in that. It's quite bold what I say, but I do believe we make a huge chance. We have a chance there.
Thank you, Maria. That is a very important. We're going to look for ecosite, and if you want to put that URL in case you've got it into the chat, or just remind us, it's ecocide.
Just look for
SITE.
ECOCIDE.
Okay.
I will put it in the chat.
Very good. Thank you. And also the CAPP community that Curaçao has started includes as well the Seychelles and Fiji. So we are starting off the bat with island nations, and we encourage you guys to join. Start by working through Sierretta and joining the task force, and that group will soon be seeing members of the community coming from Seychelles and Fiji. So this is just the start. We really hope that more people will join this community in the fight against plastic pollution. Any other questions for Maria?
I think
and Maria,
those are
yeah, go ahead, Sierretta.
I think there are more comments related to what Maria mentioned about the consumer responsibility, and also what Maria mentioned during her presentation. But for now, it's about it. There are no more questions.
Maria, I owe you an apology because I pronounced it as we do in the States, Westerbos, and I should have said Westerbos, and no I apologize.
It's a really Dutch name, huh? It means like living in the west of the wood.
The west of the wood. Well, we hope there are no plastic debris. There is no plastic debris in that wood, and we know that you are a force for change. Thank you so much. Let's all give her a hand using our little reactions. Everybody go and give a clap and a thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. We've really enjoyed your remarks, and we hope you stay because we have more things going on here. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to just go back to the slides. Let me know if you can see. I think people can see now. And I'm going to close my chat so you don't have to look at it. We've had Q&A. Now I am very, very excited to introduce Debrah Nijdam and Mitchell Lammering. And I'm sure I have also mispronounced both names. So Debrah and Mitchell, please go ahead and correct me. But I wanted to just let you know a little bit about their company, which is called Limpi. Limpi creates recycled products from plastics. And the wonderful pair, who are going to be speaking presently, met each other at Rotterdam University, and they discovered that they both had a passion for plastic pollution elimination. And they studied a variety of different business skills around mass production and around product design. And what they've done is they've turned that knowledge into explaining to the world more about, one, the opportunity to reuse and recycle, but also to show the problems with plastic and some of the dangers of plastic to our society, our nature, and our health. And they are going to talk to us just after they show their video. Sierretta, I'm going to stop sharing and let you use your screen.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Debrah Nijdam, and together with Mitchell Lammering, we started Limpi Recycling. We are two product engineers, graduated from industrial product design in 2016 in Rotterdam, and in 2017 we started a project Limpi. We had the ambition to be creative and make a change on Curaçao and eventually in the world. Almost right away, we realized that Limpi isn't a project anymore and turned our project into a business. We became the pioneers of a circular economy on Curaçao, where plastic waste is turned into high-quality designed and engineered products. So what do we actually do at Limpi? At Limpi, we do everything from collecting the plastic, making the machines, to having an end product. We collect the plastic. A great example for this is not only locals bring their plastic, but also the companies that want to be sustainable can now recycle their plastic waste. There are different types of companies that contact us and want to work together. You have Sunny Trading. They import cleaning supplies, and sometimes these bottles are damaged, so then they can't sell it anymore. They can now bring them to us so that we can recycle. You have Plastico Danella. They make tubing for under the ground, and when the tubing is rejected, they can bring them to us. And we get the broken crates from Panaderia Isa, that is a local bakery. We sort and process the plastic into raw material. Cleaning the bottles is very labor intensive. That's why we are now looking for a new machine to simplify and improve the process. We are hoping to find something that already exists, but haven't found anything so far, so we will probably have to design and make something ourselves. We design, engineer, and make the molds for new products. This is one of the specialties of Limpi. Because of this, we can customize and design products directly and can communicate about the designs directly with the clients without having a middleman. We build the machines to create with. We have currently built about 10 machines to process the plastic. We produce and assemble all of our products, and all of this is happening locally. Because we do the whole process, we have the control and guarantee for the highest quality of outcome. 4 years ago, we were 2 engineering graduates with a dream to create new from old. We used our own savings to build our first machines and started in a small shed in my parents' garden. Now we have grown, moved to a new location, made new machines, evolved our process, and have big ideas for the future. Because we continue to innovate, we have outgrown our new location as well and are now looking for an affordable warehouse to continue to create and make a change. We have plans for community projects, educational programs, and social opportunities, and would be happy to share these privately with the people that are interested. So what do we actually make? The type of products we make vary from small to big, and so do our orders. In the beginning, we were known for our custom keychains and are now making multiple custom products for different companies and hotels, such as the coaster for Lions Dive, the Save Our Shark keychain, the MCB keychain, the beach clip, or the keychain for dolphin therapy. We make medals for different sports events, and we make awards and gifts for businesses to hand out to their partners, such as a swimming medal, innovation award, another medal, and another award. We make art with plastic that is washed ashore on the north side of our island. The quality of the plastic isn't as new, and we are one of the few that can process this plastic into something new. A big project we did with this type of plastic was for the Marriott Beach Resort. Every room has a unique art piece of Limpi, and this project had a very big impact because of all the plastic we needed to fulfill the amount of art pieces. We make building materials such as beams and sheets. And what we have been focusing on and improving lately are the plastic sheets. These sheets can also be used as a replacement for wooden sheets, with all of its own benefits. We've been creating different types of products with these sheets, such as side tables, trash bins, boat tables, meeting tables, signs, and much more. We have exported products as well and have gotten orders from Belgium, Bonaire, Holland, Zurich, and more. Even though our focus is on the local market because our hands are full, we know that there are big opportunities for export. Because we are one of the few that have achieved so much in the recycle and product engineering industry for smaller scale productions, a lot of initiatives are contacting us for coaching on the machines and products. We have been contacted by Aruba, Bonaire, Saba, St. Maarten, projects in South Africa, Colombia, and more. So even coaching projects has opportunities for Limpi. I would like to thank each and everyone for their time, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask or send us a message on our website or one of our social medias on Limpi Recycling. Thank you.
Wonderful. We're so excited to meet you. So you have the floor. Tell us more about this amazing Limpi company that you've started.
Thank you. Yeah, at the beginning, thank you for the introduction. I think a very, very beautiful introduction of who we are. Yeah, you just saw the presentation that Debrah did about our company. We're just flew into Holland.
We just arrived in Holland today, so we just got in time for the presentation.
So we're doing this now for 4 years. We're on Curaçao, busy, starting from very small, starting with a small oven, just trying some small fishes out of the oven, and building our machines bigger and bigger to make products for businesses, doing as much customized products as possible.
Yeah, we started small, and right away we got the reaction from a lot of companies that they would like to have something. And we were very lucky that from there on, the orders kept on coming in without us having to do marketing or anything. So we're very grateful for that. And what's unique from us is because we can create anything customized. A lot of people can come with their own ideas, and then we can make that a reality as well. And it's all a great story as well, because everything is happening locally. The material is local, the designing is happening local, the mold making and the production as well. So it's a whole local process.
And most of it as well is all, well, actually everything is done by hand. So it's still very artsy production, to make the products, to clean the plastics, everything.
So a question for you guys. I've seen some wonderful things in the chat. People are amazed, they're delighted. You heard from Doug, good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a lot of custom orders, and I know you're moving as fast as you can because you're doing a lot by hand. Has anybody asked you if they can either buy or rent one of your machines, because they know that they're going to be perpetually either producing or getting access to plastic?
Yeah, well,
we haven't gotten a request specifically for that, but we have made machines for other companies. We made one for Bonaire.
A project.
Yeah, for a project. And we made a bike shredder for a local educational project where kids can ride a bike, and in the meantime, the bike shreds plastic, which will be then used for recycling. So we haven't rented out our machines, but we did help with making some.
Yeah, we're also connected to a Dutch project. It's called Precious Plastic. I don't know if you heard about it, but there are actually very small machines to help people, the blueprints of small machines to help people start recycling over the world. We started with those machines as well, and we improved from there. We had we started with the idea, then we came across Precious Plastic and took those steps, those blueprints as our beginning, as our first prototypes for machines to start our business, which started actually as a project as well. And then it all happened so fast that it had to become a business, and we couldn't leave Curaçao anymore to do something else. Yeah. We had to do it. Yeah.
So great. So if you guys remember, Maria was asked the question, should this be coming from supply or demand? Should we be pressuring the producers or taking responsibility ourselves? And it sounds like you guys have been right in the middle there. You've been,
I think we are
working with both.
Yeah, it's very hard because the people who produce the plastics need the plastics as well and have to do something about it. But on the other hand, the people, the consumers, they can do something about it as well. But we look at it at 2 points. We're looking at it as a consumer, but we're also looking at it, how do they produce it? What do you need for it? And for example, if we think about bags, those are plastic bags. Those are not really necessary. You can use many other products as a bag. So you can really simply replace those for another material. But for example, a bottle, you can say, you can use a glass bottle, but glass bottles are very, very expensive if you compare it to a plastic bottle. And there's not really another another material available as a bottle. So you have to see it in two ways, and we're not really against plastic, but you have to recycle it, and there has to
we
be...
are against refusing it. So like a water bottle, we're definitely against that.
Yeah.
But like if you buy cleaning supplies, that's when we can't like refuse it. So that's why we're in the middle, that you do need alternatives for a lot of things, but we don't know a solution for some of the things as well.
Yeah, and there has to be regulations. Yeah. Like Maria said as well, there are many types of different plastics. You can definitely, when there are regulations, you can make them only a few plastic types, so that you can recycle it so much easier. And even we are having a lot of trouble with the labeling on the plastic, for example. We can't get it off easy, so it's very expensive for us to clean those bottles. And all these small things, all together.
Some adjustments that suppliers can do to make their products more recyclable, like changing the labeling or changing a filler inside of a bottle cap. And even those little changes can make a big change. But we're also, like Maria said, that the consumer, if you all stick together and you all say, no, we're not accepting this anymore, that will also bring a very big change. Yeah,
the fruit packaging, for example, is not necessary, so don't do it. Or do it with paper if it's necessary at all. But a bottle, you can't replace a bottle with something else very easily. So yeah, you need those plastics. So it's sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't, and you have to figure out a way to live with it and recycle it as best as you can.
Or refuse.
Or refuse. Yeah.
And what we learned from Maria is there are some tremendous innovations that are starting to happen. You guys are innovators, and Maria shared with us, I'm going to see if I get the name right, Uho, which is a globule that is compostable, which you put in your mouth, right? With water.
But that has to be in something as well.
Oh, well.
If you put it in the shells like that, they will get dirty and you can't put it in your mouth anymore. So then you need water to clean the water, and then I don't know how they package that. I heard about the product, but I don't know how they package it. Maybe Maria knows, but you need to package that.
They are really working on a scale up, because what they did is if you run a marathon, for example, and then people get these bottles. And they throw those bottles away, and you have this plastic dumpster all around, across the road for people that run that marathon. If you have these bulbs, you just put them in your mouth, you have liquids, and you keep on running. But to scale it up and transport it, they're working on that. But I do believe in that kind of solutions. Like I know that,
definitely.
It's like being innovative, and I do think, and I put my trust in that we one day will find something that is plastic but is not, that is biodegradable and that looks like plastic, but that it's a different product.
But
different impact.
Work for that.
Of course, now you're having those biodegradable plastics that are actually not really biodegradable. So
they're polymers. And a polymer will
it's still not biodegradable.
No, it will
not. People use it to greenwash their products.
Right.
So it's very hard to find something very good and good for the world and cheap and everything.
No, they're working on that. All over the world, bright people are working on that. The interesting part is that if we found that new plastic, which is no plastic, then you can keep on recycling and cleaning up everything that's everywhere. Because then we need a lot of businesses like yours. Because there's a lot to clean up.
We're not... Sorry.
I was going to say, we do have a comment in the chat. Ciaretta, do you want to bring that to our attention? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Indeed.
Yes. We have a comment and 2 questions. And of course, it's related to the great work that Debrah and Mitchell are doing. And it's about, the question is, do you think that using plastic as you are using it make plastic acceptable and viewed as less problematic?
Yes and no. Like we said, the plastic that you can't avoid at the moment, if you publish it as a useful material, just not as a waste, indeed you could see it as less problematic. But if you see the percentage that's being recycled right now, it's still very problematic. So if you have a way to be able to recycle all of it, and there's a solution for all of the waste, then yeah, you actually solved the waste problem. But we're sadly far from that we're able to recycle 100% of it. So we're on a small start now. The amount that we're recycling is far from the amount that Curaçao produces. That's why we're also focusing on the plastic sheets, because the bigger the product, the more plastic you need. And that's one of our goals as well, is to be able to make the biggest of impact that we can. So yeah, that's what we're going for.
And of course, we're now making something else out of it, but you want to make out of a bottle, you actually want to make a bottle as well. But we're not able with our machines yet. We're not able to do these type of products yet. We would love to get there sometime, but yeah.
Yeah, but our another part of with the bottle, so the single-use plastic. So when you're finished using a cleaning bottle, what to do with it then? Our goal is as well to make something that is not for single use as well, like a tabletop. You use it for a couple of years and hopefully pass it on to someone else, or if it needs, what do you call that? Improving, or you need to fix it, then it can come back to us, or it can be fixed with something else. So it's also not to bring the waste back to the landfill eventually. It's to keep it in use and not make it a waste.
Thank you very much. We have another question also related to recycling. It mentions that given the fact that you mentioned, will we continue to need plastic, or isn't it important to support recycling as much as possible by calling the government, the businesses, and the consumers to work together to avoid plastic to be left in nature? That's one of the questions in the chat.
It's a very long question.
Is the question directly to us or more to the government, that if...
Or in general?
I'm reading it again real quick. Yeah, I don't really know what the...
Maybe I can...
yeah.
Oh, it's a suggestion, actually, not a real question, but it's more a suggestion.
Yeah, so maybe I can say that as the government, Ministry of Economic Development, is engaging into a program to support sustainable entrepreneurs. So it's still in an idea and exploratory phase. But we have been engaging into social enterprises, into helping and developing a policy to support. But we have programs already to support entrepreneurs in general, but we want to be specifically also engaged into facilitating sustainable entrepreneurs. And that's why we are also engaged into this whole CAPP initiative, And from the beginning, when we started, we said we want to approach it from an economic perspective, in the sense that we want to make sure that our economy is based on sustainable grounds. But next to that, we want to make sure that companies are engaged into sustainability, but that we support sustainable entrepreneurs. And Limpi has been one of the companies that we've been following, and that we've been looking into their company. We have recommended Limpi for several activities and how do you say, proposals that we are getting from local hotels, for example, that want to engage into sustainable development. But we want to see how we can also facilitate a company as Limpi to be successful, and to make sure that their business process, goes well, that it's less intensive, but more effective and efficient. But next to that, we want to see how this whole Limpi concept can be franchised, can be, exported and licensed, and all these industrial designs that you have developed can be protected and also sold, to other companies to use and start businesses like Limpi in other countries. It could be a brand that could be developed and become an international company.
Yeah, that's actually what we as well were thinking about, but the process needs to be more involved
and simplified.
And simplified to really, because we did give some workshops in Bonaire as well, and we know that in Aruba there's a kind of similar project. They are not really focused on recycling anymore. They have some machines as well. And we went there as well, but yeah, it's not coming off the ground as good as Limpi has done already. But yeah, still Limpi needs a lot of attention from us, and it's not improved enough to make it simple for everybody to work with the machines. Yeah. So that's one of the things we are working on and trying to make everything better, so we can just grab our machines and put it on Bonaire, or just put it on Saba, or put it somewhere on all the other islands that are actually having the same problem.
Yeah, right. Because of being an island, that gives you a benefit as well, that you can manage a lot easier than if you're in a big country or something. Yeah. So that's great for the great part of being an island.
Mm-hmm. So we will be in touch. So as soon as you're back, let's move to make an appointment and start discussing how we can support you better.
Yeah.
Great.
We have one last question for Debrah and Mitchell. It's about refusing single-use plastics. And the question is Limpi doing something with single-use plastic products?
Yes, but it depends what you see as single-use plastic. We recycle the mostly cleaning bottles, so the HDPE bottles. PET bottles we collect, but we hand that over to another recycler that exports. And we're also using plastic crates that are broken. We use PP as well for what do you call those? Yoghurtbakjes. Yogurt. Bakjes, containers. Those types of now I see add on to the question.
Yeah.
A lot of cups, plates, and forks are made from PS. That's a different type, polystyrene, a different type of plastic. And if you melt this plastic, toxic fumes are released. So we do not work with that type of plastic, and it's seen as a plastic that is not recycled at all. It's very difficult to recycle, and the people that are doing it are very little. So that's why polystyrene is actually one of the plastics that needs to be refused.
Yeah, and there are well, you have a lot of the forks and the spoons and those things are polystyrene, but you have them as well in other types of plastics. For example, we just flew with KLM, and they have the golden forks, and those are made out of polypropylene, which is one of the plastics we use. So we could use those, and we have to refuse the polystyrene forks and cups.
But it's also difficult because it's not always labeled. So if we get forks and knives and it's not labeled, to find out what type of plastic it is too much of a process. You need to do testing and all those things to find out, is it polypropylene or is it polystyrene? So eventually we cannot recycle the forks and cups because of the amount of time that it needs to be processed, you could say. So what we process are the bottles, the crates, the types of products that we get a lot, the yogurt containers.
Or if somebody, for example, a business has a lot of one type of plastic,
a big batch.
We are able to look into what type of plastic is it, and then we can find a solution for it.
Yeah.
But not if we just get one cup or something. It's not doable for us.
You're echoing what Maria was saying earlier, which is there is too much proliferation of plastic types and compound plastics. And that's part of the regulation that we should be advocating for. Yeah. And you're right, there's an economy of scale doing testing for just one type of plastic and have it being repeatedly used. Yeah. So one of the things I would be interested, if you were to look one of your customers in the eye and say, here's what would be best for you to reduce or to replace or to reuse or recycle. And I'm hearing also to reduce the complexity. Have you had those conversations with your customers? Maybe ones that you could advise us to also give to our colleagues.
Coca-Cola is one of the people we have spoken to, for example, about their bottle caps. They have these small blue lids in it, and we asked
it's not everyone. The bottles that are made on Curaçao have that, not everywhere. Yeah. So if you if you unscrew the bottle cap is from PP, but inside you have a LDPE film that shuts off the bottle. It's like a silicone. So that what do you call that? That makes the bottle cap less recyclable because you have something that makes it dirty. And you could say.
For us, our products are we're looking into the colors as well.
So for us, the colors and the types are very important. But like with Coca-Cola, we had the conversation from why do you actually have that film inside of the bottle cap?
This is a meeting.
So we had the conversation with them from why do you need that in the bottle cap? Could you look into it? Is it necessary? And this was in the beginning, I think 2017 or 18 when we just started. And we're happy to say that they made a change in the bottle cap, and they're making the bottle cap also less plastic. So because of something that we mentioned, a company has already made a change in their product line.
Hooray for you. You've got leverage now. And you'll see, Sireta and I are reading the chat, and one of the guests mentioned that there are many, many activities involved in reducing plastics. And one of them, of course, is to reduce it at production. And then, of course, to make sure that people reuse it and use less of it. So this is very exciting. In fact, one of the aspirations that we have together with the task force, the CAPP community is looking to use data around each of those different types of plastic removal, recycle, replacement, reduction, so that over time you'll be able to see a number of different case studies that are labeled by those practices and be able to borrow them, just as you are sharing your best practices and your machinery in different islands. It's a great way of educating people and then being able to sort of get down to the next level of detail. So it looks like we've pretty much gone through chat there. Is that right, Sireta?
Yes, that's true, Kate. We have more comments, of course, but no more questions.
So I think we're just about ready to wrap up. Before I turn the floor over to Vanessa to give us our final remarks, Maria or Mitchell or Debrah, do you guys have any final remarks or kind of advice for us?
Start recycling.
I think I gave enough advices for one day. And I really need to leave also. I need to jump in my car now.
Alrighty.
So very happy you invited me. Thank you. Honored to be part of this webinar. And hope to see you one day on Curaçao or in Boston or wherever in the world.
Thank you.
So I'm out. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Maria.
That's, I think, the same for us as well. As thankful that we can present what we are doing here on Curaçao, and we love that everyone is coming together and sharing their expertise and tips and knowledge with the rest, because we always say as well that together you can reach much farther. So we hope this is the first step to many.
Right.
Vanessa.
Oh, thank you so much to the presenters, Maria, Westerbos, Debrah, and Mitchell from Limpi. Very inspiring sessions, and it gives us some more energy to continue the work we've started to do. So we are very committed to realize this plastics agenda in Curaçao, and together with Sireta and all the colleagues at both the Ministry of Economic Development, Ministry of Health, Nature and Environment, with you, CAPP initiative, also everyone in Curaçao that wants to join this movement, wants to join this initiative, are welcome to connect with us. It's a long road, but it's worth walking this road, and we are sure that we will be one of the pioneers, and that we will be a flagship nation in the Caribbean for the CAPP initiative. We will be a very successful region in dealing with this whole plastic problem the world is facing. So thank you to everyone that participated this morning. And we look forward to a next session, a next webinar that will be announced soon. So like our Facebook page so you can follow everything, and see you soon. Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you, Sireta. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. And watch that Facebook page for announcements for our next speaker.